Hey there, Facebook. I'm all excited to be here with you today. This is Dionne, the Chief Joy Connector. Hey there, hey there. Happy to see you. Hey there, Auntie Abimbola, Adam. Welcome to the Zoom Space fam. Claudine. Hey, sister. This is Dionne, the Chief Joy Connector. Excited that you have taken time for yourself today. Wherever you are, Facebook or Zoom, I would love if you get what you need to collect your jewels. Is that a pen, paper? Is it your fancy writing device? There's so many writing devices that are not pen and paper now. I don't even know what they're called. But wherever you want to collect your jewels, maybe you're going to take a screenshot. Maybe you're just going to go back and watch the recording later. What I'd love to hear from you, you can think about, you can tell me where you're coming in from. If you're on Facebook, what city or state are you in? And just start thinking about, how do you feel about altars? What is your concept of altars? And grab some water. Yes, I didn't say that. Grab some water. I already had my 16 ounce. I filled it up again. So it's pretty early in the day. You may not have had any water yet, and you need some water in your body. So get some water. Get some water. You got your water, Shawnee and Tiffany? Checking on y'all. Hey, Marilyn.
Good morning, Dionne. How you doing?
I am so awesome and happy to be back here with you. Where are you hailing from today, Adam, Maryland, Avambola? Where y'all at?
I'm originally from the DMV, but I'm in the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina.
All right. You know, I'm hailing from Washington Heights, so I'm in the Dominican Republic. All the New Yorkers know what that.
Good morning, Dionne. I was actually from Washington Heights. That was back 2000. I moved to Staten Island as of 2005, so I'm there now.
Okay. I'm on 169th between Audubon and Amsterdam, so I'm right down the block from the school.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was 190 Cabrini.
Oh yeah, yeah. I walk up
The
there all the time.
Cloisters.
I walk up there all the time.
Yeah, Washington Heights. Wow. Shopping center. Love it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tell your friends to come.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Good morning, fam. This is Dionne, the Chief Joy Connector. So excited to be here with you today on this beautiful Monday. So again, I will ask you whether you're on Facebook or Zoom to please go grab some water and get what you need to collect your jewels. I think there's so much wisdom and valuables that are dropped here in the Wake Up Everybody virtual community that you need to have a way to collect that. The topic today is carving out time for you, altars, use, creation, and becoming. So I'd love to hear, I'm going to read to you what the dictionary definition is of altar. And we know that we are a self-determined people and we create things above and beyond what a dictionary might say. And there are always connotations above and beyond the denotation. But the dictionary says altar is a noun. The table in a Christian church at which the bread and wine are consecrated in communion services. A table or flat-topped block used as the focus for a religious ritual, especially for making sacrifices or offerings to a deity. So I was quite surprised when I looked that up and read it, because that's not how I think of an altar in 2022. And it's not how I create them. So I'd love, before I move into what we might use from, to hear from somebody, how do you feel about altars, and do you have an altar? So who wants to share in the chat or bring their voice into the space?
All righty. Let me start us off while people get warmed up. So drop your shares in, or if there's someone who has a desire, you can raise your digital hand or come off mute. I was telling Dionne, and have said this before, that altars are my jam. I didn't realize until I'm trying to think about 10 years ago that it's a form of art to me too, meaning it's the way I express artistically and spiritually blended. So the angles, the colors, what I use on it is super important to me, and just how I lay it out. And it's meditative for me as well. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I looked one day at something I created as far as sacred space and was like, this is a work of art. It's like an exhibit. And so I love altars. They're a major part of my life.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for bringing that into the space, Shawnee, because as I'm sitting next to you, so when and if, so all of you that are here with me and that have seen me present, I'm generally sitting in this particular space. And my centerpiece on my table is pretty much an altar. And what I have there, to your point, Shawnee, is when I turn my head and you see me look off, there's a mirror, there are several crystals, a black onyx pyramid, there is a butterfly pad, and then there's the seeds of Rudraksha, like the malas, around the neck of a soapstone statue from Zimbabwe, and a plant, and a candle. And then there's another candle that's not lit, but it's always put together as a centerpiece on my table. And it was like, oh, this is where I come to pour into myself and pour into others in this space. And there's there's an altar there. So thank you for sharing that. So different spaces in my home, as I look around, I realize there are various sacred spaces with symbols and things for altars. Oh, I see Nija. Thank you for sharing in the chat, Nija. I have an altar as far back, have had an altar as far back as you can remember, but not knowing it was an altar. Yes, thank you for bringing that into the space. When I think about, the title is Carving Out Time for You, Use, Creation, and Becoming with Altars. But that part, in above and beyond use. Oh, Tiffany, go ahead and read that out for me, please. And I'll sip on my coffee since I've had my water.
Yes. So I shared that I currently do have an altar. It represents the four elements: air, water, earth, fire. And then it's also used for me to honor my ancestors. So I have a mini urn that contains my dad's ashes, as well as his prayer card from his services, pictures of my father-in-law who transitioned, and I never had an opportunity to meet him in person, but through story, I feel that I know him. And then just mementos, crystals, stone, incense, Palo Santo, sage that help me whenever I'm feeling internally out of whack. I just go and I stare at it. I talk to it. I'm talking to the ancestors, and it helps me get back grounded with self. And I would say that I've only consciously known I've had this space for the last 2 years through my work with Shawnee and Feed a Tree. However, I was always creating these spaces, whether it was a memorial wall in my apartments or just having these things in my house, but they were all over the place. And now they're in a centered space, which helps me. But do what I need to do and stay focused.
Thank you for that. So thank you for the shares here. And if there are more coming in, my admins, you'll let me know. So what I'll go back to is the use. What you heard a couple of different things in these shares. So I set up and I pour into myself. So when thinking of an altar, it's creating a sacred space to elevate. So that physical space will have things from different elements. And I start off with, and I asked all of you to get water because I do believe in pouring libation. I have not poured my libation for today as of yet, but I also think of our body as one of the best forms of an altar in pouring into yourself. So we're really coming at this from a whole different levels of angles, but having water there. Tiffany brought in the elements, air. So with the air, where you're physically putting it, what you're speaking into it, right? Because that's something, even when I came to teaching yoga, it was like, these yoga teachers say some really different things. You know, we're going back 20 years or so. And I'm like, I don't understand why they're putting their breath on such thing. So your air, the words that you speak, magnify things and pour things into the universe that you're creating, the energy you put out there, the air, the water, drinking water, pouring water, having a cup of water quite often for ancestral altars. And then fire, I generally have candles. I'm Aries, I'm a little fire baby. There's generally a candle lit on every floor or in every room while I'm in the space. Scented candles, spiritual candles, tea light candles. Someone just gifted me a candle that I wanted to show you. I don't know that you can see this. It's from a botanica in the neighborhood, but someone's business was adorning the candle, and on it, the light is glaring so you can't see it. It says Oshun in yellow, but it was a candle that was gifted to me, and I feel like it's too pretty to burn, so I haven't burned it, but I have it sitting here next to me. So these elements, but what I want to come back to is use. Shawnee didn't talk about it. They both talked about the beauty and the placement of them. And so the use, there's something, oh, thank you, Naja. In terms of creation and using it, the dictionary definition said that you're in the church, they did it. So if we think of most churches, and even I practice in African traditional religion, you're looking at a conversation. It's a conversation with the ethers, with the airs, with what elements that we may no longer see, with your ancestors, with if you are believing in gods and deities and other elements, that we are not in this space on earth alone by ourselves. There are other people or energies that we're communicating with. And what is it that we're putting out into the world? And you're making a beautiful space for that. I love that Shawnee said that it's through art, because there's an element of beauty. And one example I always think of for people is everybody, whether you raise your hand or not, you have walked into an Indian or Asian restaurant somewhere, and almost every one of them, there's a small little space as you walk in, there'll be a table above the door, and there's going to be a little brass something with some flowers in it and a small candle. They're really clear on their traditions and where they put things, and you might see it. I'd love to see show of hands or hearts or comments in the chat if you've seen that in certain restaurants. That it's just commonplace in their place of business. They need to know. Marilyn and I were talking about being in the Heights. You walk into certain businesses, the fact that they have written on money, good luck, and all these sorts of things. And my phone just started playing music and I don't know why. That's funny. And it started playing the song Feeling Good. So I guess we are feeling good in this space. Yes, girl, the ancestors, we are feeling good. The fact that all of this energy is in one particular place, but the money, you know, you've seen it before. You open a restaurant, They open a business. Almost every botanica in my neighborhood, every bodega on the corner, there's a dollar or a $5 bill taped up from when they first opened, the money that they got when I launched my book. So little things that are ritualistic that you hold on to that bear meaning to you, that have sentiment, the pictures. So all of those things exist. We've seen them, but it's pulling together into a place. So what are we creating? We've done vision boards. A vision board is a way of looking at something and having a theme that you want. Your altars have that and can have that. There can be, I loved listening to, I was on yesterday when Claudine spoke about travel and all that she did putting into travel and creating pictures. And you could have a travel, we did this collectively as a travel, not alt, we didn't call it an altar when my kids were in elementary school, putting up maps and putting pins on places you wanted to go. So we were collectively creating that energy to go to those places. So your altars are a conversation with self and with spirit that you can use. Getting a new job, going on trips, creating and manifesting finances, just all the things in your life that you want to create. So I've been talking a lot and I really want to hear from you and talk about elements and what element do you have or want to create for an altar? And I'm going to sit here and fan because 55 just showed up and see what you have to say on Facebook or on Zoom.
The fan is affecting your audio.
Oh, let me go mute. I'm gonna go on mute while I fan.
Okay. So Tiff, what was the question about the items? I don't know.
What do you have or what do you want to create? So what do you have in your space? Like I will show you, this is one crystal that I have that I travel. I believe in a travel altar. So there's certain things I have with me. And this is selenite wand to clear energy. I actually got this from Coach
Cheryl?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I got it from Coach Cheryl. This one I forgot the name of. I brought back from Kenya, these two. I think it's azurite, and I forgot the name of this one. But they make a pretty shape that I look at on my table that I have sitting here.
Yes. All righty. I know for myself that it would be great to create an altar around the manifestation of land, property. And so having the element of earth as a centerpiece of something that represents that. I also have a very specific view of what I want the property to have, like what elements and the feel and the look. I love porches. And so finding an image of the ideal house with porches, and there's something called a turret. It's like a steeple on a house, like you would see it on churches. It's a round room and it has like a point. I want one of those as well. So just finding an image or imagery of that, those perfect pieces around trees and water would be ideal. And then that could be a centerpiece for the altar, but I haven't sat down to figure out how I will design it. My next
Thank
master.
you. I love that. And I love, for all of you that are listening or on the replay, what Shawnee brought into the fact, I could see it in terms as the visual that she created from speaking it into it. So the fact that Shawnee spoke it into the space, that element of air and creation, even though she has not physically created it, she has planted the seed for it to come about. So, I saw something come into the chat, so I'm going to pause to see if one of the admins can share what's in the chat.
Yes.
Hey, Lisa, Helen.
Oh, go ahead, Tiff.
That wasn't me. That was somebody else. I'm just transferring over some items, some comments from Facebook. Tanefe Wallace says I have an altar, I have pictures, and I need to work on my elements. And one that she said she wanted to do was add a monetary element to her altar. So Dionne, I guess that would be how you were mentioning in the bodegas when they newly open, they have people write positive affirmations or messages on the money and they place it by the register usually.
Yep.
And then
You-
we also had another comment come in. Amadua Duma. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. She
Oh, yeah,
Amadou.
Auntie Amodama. Auntie Amodama.
Yes, Auntie Amadama said, interesting. You spoke of air and the words spoken, and your fanning affected the sound. So you were generating air as you were speaking on air.
That's a good point. Thank you, Auntie Amadama, and thank you for sharing those things. So what I will say for, I think Tanifa that shared, thank you for that, Tanifa. What I also want to bring in, and I think having a physical space as an altar, a certain space, I saw Adam brought that in, having a man cave, and there's a she cave or whatever it is, creating that space for yourself in wherever you are. And hopefully, if you're not driving, I will ask everybody to simply pause, because whether you have a physical space that is a physical altar outside of your body, you are speaking things into existence. And I want to introduce one of the biggest things I work with on all of my clients and in yoga, that your physical body is the most important home and altar that you have. So when I got ready today to be with you, and I did not want to get out of bed, love y'all, mean it. And I'm looking at the ceiling going, you got to get up, you're going to be on camera. And then I was like, you don't have time to take a shower. And then it was like, no, the water is what I need. So the water is what you need to consume, to cleanse, and get your mind and body right. So in order to prepare this vessel as the altar, so information can come through for you, what you do. So for me, to adorn that, to create the altar that I look at and the altar that is my body, what I pour into myself and what I consume. You hear me talk about that a lot. So starting the day with water, starting the day with you, and those rituals of the things that you do. So when you look at those things and expand, like, oh, I don't have an actual altar on a table. I don't have but I do have a special place in my home that I will go sit and meditate, that I will go sit and have a cup of tea away from someone. Those things are sacred spaces. And the sacred spaces and the beauty you put up in that space, the picture you have on the wall, the card that you saved. I have a 3D butterfly card that someone mailed to me that I'm looking at over the laptop that I always love seeing. And that winds up being a sacred space, and Ganesh is over there. So expanding your concept of what an altar is and how you can create that for yourself. I saw a lot more things come into the chat, so I'm going to pause and see if the admins want to share.
All righty. So let me see what is being said here. Jenny shared, I have a spare room where I want to build an altar. What do you recommend putting on it? I don't want clutter. Any recommendations? And you want to share now? Or you want to wait?
I'll wait.
Okay, wonderful. And Catherine was saying that she loves it. My heart is my home. And Niger, I have a few altars in my home. 2 of them have real money on them, large bills. I never told my children not to touch the money, and they haven't. They respect the sacredness of the altar, and the bills have not been touched. I've heard them tell friends not to touch them. They'll be like, don't be taking my mama's money. Oh, Catherine said, my mind is to be nurtured and protected and honored. And
Yay.
yeah, so the room that can create the masterpiece. What say you, Dionne?
I probably want to co-create this one with you, Shawnee, but what was the person's name that put that in there?
Hold on one second. I think it's Jenny Lyons.
Okay, so
Yes.
Jenny, what I would say to you is, in that space, start thinking about elements and colors. Like, I really wanted to do this. I feel like I'd have to have like a video cam on and take you around my home and to see the colors. So for me, when I moved into this house, a sacred space, I started off with color. I can't speak for you, but a lot of us move into a space, all the walls are white, and those walls may stay white forever. And I think an element that's important to you, or is important, is color. So if there's certain colors you like, if you don't want to paint the room that color, having colors around. What are colors that are meaningful to you? What are candles? If you go into a crystal store, like this one is a desert rose that I have here. Things that feel good, things that look good. Coming back to you, Jenny, with your body being an altar, being a pendulum, being the wing that's going to help you move forward and backward and to know what's right with you, that have an element for a feel. This plant is not alive, but I do have several plants in my home that are, but having the things that mean creation to you and taking your time with it, because that building and creation comes from the thought of what you want it to be. And it can start off simple. And I love the fact that you brought up clutter, because at some point you may have too much there. Like the one I have here at this table, once, I'd say probably twice a month, I clear everything off, cleanse it, and put it back. I change the tablecloth that's underneath it. So as long as you create a time in the same way that you take a shower or a bath on a daily basis and brush your teeth daily, there's the same level of care. There's a periodic time where you would look at it and assess it. Is it doing what it needs to do? What does it need? Does it need fire? Does it need a candle? Does it need water? And changing that. So I hope that resonated with you, Jenny, that you just listen and see what it is. Is there a wall hanging that speaks to you? But really let it come from your spirit. And if you're not 100% sure, have conversations. Later on, I'll share my contact information. Shawnee loves doing these sorts of things. Some people are very much into temporary altars, which are floral things, and creating a mandala of flowers. There's so many options. And I'm going to be back again next week to talk about this more. But I hope that resonated with you, Jenny. Is there something you want to add, Shawnee?
Thank you for the invitation. Spatial pieces are important to me, like distance between things, because you mentioned not having clutter. And then also consider that you have a full canvas, the four walls as well as the ceiling. So hanging things, use of fabric, not just for the items to be laid upon, but you can do it above. Like there's so much you can do. But be conscious if you're a person that I'm allergic to dust, so I have to be conscious of what I put together because stuff builds up. But depth and height and dimensions can also be a powerful thing to look at or to consider when you're creating the altar. And then create something that's easy to manage or to shift out. Because if it's too elaborate, then you're like, damn, I gotta call in a crew to take this apart. So consider that. I'm so jealous, Jenny, jealous in the sense that I have a room that I can convert. I just have so much stuff in it. I haven't been able to do it, but I love that you're considering creating a whole space, a sacred space that's literally a room in your abode. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Complete.
All right. So now I've done a lot of talking. Shawnee and Tiffany have done a lot of talking. So I want to invite someone to share in the space. And I want to acknowledge the time that we're going to chat for a bit more, because y'all have been quiet today. I think you've been reflecting and thinking. And if you don't want to share on altars, I'll invite you to share on what is it in your life that you're looking to create. So we can think of creative ways in your physical body or in your physical space to manifest those things. So you can share a voice and from the chat, and I'll be quiet.
All right, beautiful. So there are many shares in the chat. So rather than me read them, some folks who have actually placed things in the chat, you can share, verbally, like what you offered up and elaborate. So anyone want to share, raise your digital hand. And we want to hear for sure, lots of stuff in the chat. Jacqueline says she has COVID voice. We received it.
I'm sorry, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna tell all of y'all, if y'all don't talk to me today, when I get off here, I'm gonna have a story in my head that y'all didn't want to talk to me, and I'm gonna have to go hug my Elmo, and I'm gonna feel sad about it
Oh
because
my
I'm like, they
Lord.
always talk to me and they don't want to talk to me today. Why don't they want to talk to me? So somebody,
I always want to talk to you. Hugs.
And then Nigel will go after Jackie.
okay.
I think it was 2 years ago. Somebody came on was talking about. It might have been you talking about the altars, but Mika was helping me to break through with some creativity, and we started talking about creating a space for me to write.
Mm,
So I started with painting the room, and I think I shared that with the community back then. And I chose lavender and purple. I love purple. I love purple, really love purple. Purple is my bonus daughter too. And I'm still working on the room. So all the furniture was white. I really went crazy looking for a particular type of desk. It took me 9 months to find it. And so I have that in there. So that's a real special piece for me. It's like an antique white, one of those lift top desk. It took a while to get. And then I put my father's picture in a white frame because I have white furniture in there on the altar. And little by little, I put a water feature. It's a fountain with rocks in it. And some of the rocks are rocks that I found and had picked up from Native American shops up near me. I live in, upstate New York, almost near the Poconos,
okay.
and Pennsylvania.
Let me
Excuse
interject
me.
just for a moment. Thank you. And your voice sounds great, girl. I don't know what this COVID voice is you're talking about, but thank you for sharing that. And I want to hear what something she said about the time she took in creating that. 9 months to find the right desk and finding that element and not feeling rushed by what you're creating and the aspect of colors and pictures and all of that. So thank you so much for that share, Jackie. And my request that I'm going to put out there, Facebook and Zoom, for those of you being silent, I want to see a whole bunch of pictures and the Wake Up Everybody Facebook group of your altars. I'm going to my phone camera's not working, or else I would have had pictures as slides today, but my replacement is coming. I will put pictures of the different altars, and I'll put up a post so we can just see these things and share. And it's going to help other people get ideas on the spaces, what they can look like and what you're creating. So thank you so much for that, Jackie. And I think Nija had
You're
her.
welcome.
Good morning, Dionne. Good
Hey,
morning, Wake
Nija.
family. How are you?
Good.
So, I do have a few altars in my home, and like I said earlier, I didn't even until maybe a few years ago really consider them altars. They were just spaces in my home where I would have pictures of some ancestors, a plant, a crystal, um, and um, a small glass of water, and somehow it blooms or blossoms, and I started adding more things to it. I added a piece of cloth, but what I wanted to really talk about was the sacred space that I created in my backyard. I have a backyard, and I really didn't use it. And one day I was like, you know what, I'm going to create some place outside where I can enjoy the sun and enjoy the birds, because I have a lot of birds in my neighborhood. And I just started working on it, and it took maybe a year for it to come together. And like Jacqueline was saying, I was looking for specific types of seating, table and chairs and a fire pit set. And it just took me a while to find the right thing. And one of the items that I purchased it, and then I forget what they call it, but I sanded it down and I repainted it.
Oh,
And
you
so
refinished it. You
I
refinished
refinished
the
it.
wood. Mhm.
It was a black metal table and chairs. And so now it's this beautiful um, cobalt blue color. And whenever I go outside, I just sit out here and I have lots of different plants. I have a wind chime. I don't have a water feature out there yet, and I'm considering whether I want to get one. But it's just a sacred space that I've created and one that I share with others. You know, I do sometimes invite people over, but I love to sit out there by myself and just reflect, just think about what I'm going to do that day. I work from home, so if I've had a particularly long or hard or stressful day or meeting, I'll take a break and I'll go and I'll sit outside in my backyard. And it's just something that I've created, never really considering it a sacred space or an altar. But each time that I go out there, I'm like, this is my sacred space. So
Yeah.
I to share that.
Thank you so much for that, and the intentionality that you created. It reminded me, and again, pictures. I want to see pictures, pictures, pictures from everybody on the in the Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, something that's really important is the time and care, because the thought. So even though you, since it's outdoors, you know it gets rained on all the time, and the air has water in it. So I don't. I want to put out there for people to have a level of expanse in their concept of what they're creating in their sacred space and altar. So even if you don't have all of the elements there, there can be intention about, you know, what you're thinking and how you feel in that space and what you're looking to create in that space. I am going to be here again next week, Monday. So I am looking forward to and hoping that some of you come back and see what you've thought about and what you're creating, and creating a level of homework and assignment to, like, if you really want to create something, whatever that is, manifesting partnership in your life, financial abundance, emotional abundance, health abundance. What is it that you're doing to create, to remind you to do those things? What are you pouring into your body and what you're creating? So we can collectively talk about that some more on the Facebook group to continue the conversation until we're together in person again next week. So I'm going to pause to see if there are more shares in the, or questions.
Yeah, there's shares, and I'm not sure of questions, but we'll see as we scroll down. So Tiffany earlier talked about dust accumulating in her space around the sacred space, the altar, and that she's committed to cleaning and resetting the altar. Reset is super important for sure. Can't just keep it there, stale space. The ancestors like, what the hell? You don't give a shit about us. If it's an ancestral altar, I know I get that. It's like I get knocked in the head about not managing properly. Jacqueline, the lighting, she said, is important to her. I have art to hang. Momena just set up my altar and I'm almost complete. I have a few more names to add, but everything else is set up. And she said she also just cleaned her space. Catherine said, I celebrate you, Jenny, and I'm excited that you have what you have. I too claim extra room. Oh, Dionne, you can tell me if you do this. Sometimes I take mobile altars with me, like on the road. And then I also, if I have limited space, I'll have I'm going to call it a mobile altar, but an altar that I can set up really quickly and then take down. And then substitutes for candles, if you can't burn them, or sage, if you can't burn them, you can do sprays, or the electric or fake candles. I don't know what they're called, tea lights. But yeah, there's lots of options when you don't have space or.
I absolutely have a travel altar.
Yay.
And it's in a satin. I think I brought it last time, so I will promise to have it next week.
Okay.
I have it's a little satin bag that's now tattered and torn. I'm gonna need a satin bag, y'all. I'm gonna need a satin bag. But in there is the Tiffany mentioned it. It's the palm card from my daughter's service,
Yes.
and then a large rock. Like, I travel with this, a large rock, and that has painted on it from one of my mentees, and then some earrings that were my daughter's, and then a bunch of crystals. And the same one last night when I did my video, I showed this one that says faith, and I think the small one there says heal, but it literally, it's maybe as big as the palm of my hand. It's small, this little bag. Everything's in there, so I could put it in my makeup bag. I could put it in my shoulder bag. So when I'm traveling, and then the nightstand next to the bed, I set it up with or without a tea light. And I even have a tea light. I never thought of carrying with the electric candles, the tea light candles, but I generally do have a tea light and a little lighter that I travel with, that even if I'm not supposed to light a candle, I wind up lighting a little tea light candle in the place, because yeah. So that is what I generally do. But we can all talk about this more next week. If there are questions, I want to hear about that. And otherwise, I want to give you some stuff and tell you what's happening for the rest of the week. I think all of y'all are deep in reflection about what you're creating and how you create it.
Dee. All right. Awesome co-creation, family. Now let's see what we have in store. Y'all stick around for this closing piece. This is also sacred, talking about what's up, what's next. All that.
Mhm.
She would be running for the hills, like, oh, I know this already. Maybe not. All righty. So tell us about the special offer, beloved.
Yes. So the special offer, some of you may have this already, but I never know if there's new people in the space. So it's a self-care bingo board, and that's something everybody can get. It's in the link that will come up later. That's if you follow me on social media. But if you go to Bitly, you know, and Wake Up Everybody, we use Bitly. The Enjoy, oh, the B is missing, Enjoy Bingo. So I think I'm going to type it in the chat, or if you pop the link in the chat, that would be awesome. Because there's, there we go. And if you copy that link and pop it in the chat, oh, there it is already there. Thank you for putting it in there. So if you go to the chat and click on that, it says Bitly Enjoy Bingo. That's going to take you to a website where you can sign up, and you have to confirm your email address, and you'll get a bingo board. Something that's really important, even for an external altar, is that we're magnifying things from our thoughts and our mind and our body and our words. So what I also feel is important is that we're clearing our vessel to help magnify and project things that are positive. Because if we're creating from a place of sickness and negativity, so your self-care is a part of taking care of your body as an altar. And that's available to everyone. And then 10% off of my coaching and yoga, because I am a yoga teacher. I'm teaching tonight. If you're in New York, anybody that's in New York City and you want to take a class in person, you can reach out to me. You'll have see my contact information. But if you're working with me privately, I am offering 10% discount, and you'll just email me for that. And then on the next slide, please take a picture of this, my contact information. That is my cell phone number and my Facebook page. I'm on Instagram, and my email address, and that link tree. It's also in the chat. So if you click on the link tree, everything's there. So you can follow me on social media. I am not the best about phone calls, but if you WhatsApp me or text message me, I will get back to you, rest assured. And on the next slide, oh, I love this one. Love offerings and donations. We have been in, I didn't even say what day today was, but we've been doing this for a few years now, fam. It is an institution in the community that we need, and any institution needs support. So these are ways that you can create a love offering that is automated, whether it's $25, $50, $75, or $100 a month. Share your woo love. 20, and you can just go to Bitly again, woo love 25, 50, 75, or 100, and the links are in the chat. Give from possibility and create more love in the community by sharing. My own natural energy yield money. And on the next slide, ooh, yes, what's next? So you can come in tomorrow, and tomorrow is going to be a longer session. Tools are us, Toolbox Tuesday. I love that. I always talk about toolboxes, and that's being facilitated by Jamie Monet. And then on Wednesday, what is your mission? What's your mission statement? That is, mission statements are crucial, and it's being facilitated by Kyra Harris. So I think those are really great. If for some reason you can't be there, remember, you can always go watch the replays in the Facebook group, but hopefully you can join live on Facebook or Zoom. Next up.
All righty, so we thank you. I saw some names that I did not recognize on Facebook as well as in the Zoom space. So we welcome all new members to the Wake Up Everybody virtual community, our nickname Woo Nation, Woo Tribe. And we're like, woohoo, because you're here with us. And you remember whether you come back again or not, like we embrace all as co-creators in this space. And in this community, we are committed to learning, elevating, and ascending. So come and join us as we do that. No hit it and quit it. Come and grow and transform daily with us. And you'll hear about our schedule. Here we go. So we're here 5 days a week. Our week starts on Sunday, and we're here from Sunday through Thursday. We have long days, which are 90-minute sessions, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And today is a shorter day, Monday and Wednesday. So every session starts at 7 a.m. It may run until 8:30 or a little longer, depending on the facilitator and the juiciness of the conversation. Or like today, we ran a little bit later, starts at 7, technically 7:30, but we do what we wish to do in this space. So we're still here at 7:45. If you want to receive reminders or alerts around us starting each morning for the sessions, you can type in, just like you're texting someone, the number 74121 as the number that you're texting. And then in the text box, put Woo Nation in all capitals and send it off. And then you'll be automatically added to the automated texting in the morning. It's usually about 30 or 20 minutes before the session begins. So be on the lookout for that for sure. And do that if you want to be part of our reminder automated texting process. And then Woo Swag, wintertime is coming. We always need to drink water, like Dionne was saying. You have a teacup, coffee cup, laptop sleeve, sweatshirts for the fall, winter time, for the coziness. You have a Woo bag. You have a journal to capture all the jewels, as Dionne was talking about. And Jackie just talked about COVID. So it's still happening, y'all. Let's not forget. And as we get closed in, there's more opportunity for the passing of the COVID energy and particles. I don't know what else to call it, but definitely check out the swag and purchase. The link is in the chat for Zoom and the thread for Facebook. And I love this. I love this. I love this. We thank you. Stay in touch, literally and figuratively. Some people meet up outside or stay in touch vibrationally because we're a family here. So you can use all these links, which are being dropped in both the Facebook and the Zoom chat, to register for our weekly sessions. So you get an announcement about who's up. You can join our Facebook public and private pages, Instagram, participate with YouTube, and email us if you have ideas, comments, requests, info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And now that we are complete, let's do what we know how to do up in this space to show love for the facilitator. Dionne has done us well, so we want to give her back what she's given to us. So unmute, family.
Thank you, Dionne.
Thank you.
Dionne, for this great presentation. The importance of altar.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I said, let's move forward, everybody, and have a blessed day. Let's continue to co-create.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Dionne.
Thank you for everything, family. Thank you, Dionne, for being a source of light and always. Have an awesome day, family.
Thank you.